Hello everyone. The question I'm asked the most is, do you Photoshop your images? Is it post-processed? Yeah, I Photoshop all my images. I spend, let's say, probably 10-15 hours on each image. This is the most asked question in photography after, should I shoot JPEG or RAW? You should shoot RAW, definitely RAW. My claim is, every photo is post-processed. Whatever the camera, whatever the medium, they're all post-processed, in a way or the other. Because at the end of the day, just talking about digitals without going too much into details, a photo is nothing else than the result of light hitting a sensor. And the result of the light hitting the sensor is a number for each sensor that is recorded into a digital medium of some sort. So a raw number must be processed somehow to go from numbers to images. And the way it works in today's cameras, most digital cameras, is that the sensor elements in the sensor are arranged in what is called a Bayer array. The arrangement in the Bayer array inside the sensor cannot be visualized directly. It just doesn't make much sense. I mean, you can in some ways. It comes out as a greenish, grayish image that looks horrible. Needs to be transformed in a way that it makes sense for human beings. The interpretation of the information in RAW file is a subjective series of transformation that leads to the final image. This transformation throws away a bunch of information, and the decision on what information to throw away can be either left to the engineers who design the camera or can be taken under control. So there is already some kind of transformation happening from when the image is recorded on the sensor to when the image is displayed on a screen. And this transformation can be under my control or under someone else's control. I cannot control the entire process because there are certain parameters in what is called the RAW processor that I do not have access to, what is called color science. But there are a lot of information that I can manipulate, that I can work with. There are lots of levers that I can touch to direct the transformation and make the image look the way I want, which is, at the end of the day, the creative process. It's important to understand in this discussion that these transformations we're talking about are subjective. There's no real way of making transformation to a Bayer array that produces an image that is real. This concept doesn't make sense. Now we can go all philosophical here and ask, what is reality really? I'm not gonna go into there. I'm not a philosopher. I'm an engineer and a photographer. I always find it funny and mildly annoying when I see an image on the internet that says no filter. No, there is a filter. You just left the choice about which filter to apply to the engineers who design the camera. I'm an artist. I want to take the decisions on how the image looks like, at the end, myself. I don't want to leave this decision to anyone else. Which is the reason why I post-process all my images from the RAW file to the final print. I try to take as much control as I possibly can. But it's not reality! Again, what is reality, really? If you have two people in front of a scene, they're gonna see two different things. They're gonna remember two different scenes. They're not gonna be entirely different, but they will be different enough and significantly. This is a known phenomenon. Human memory is not photographic. My claim is that in photography, any amount of post-processing from straight out of the camera, I did nothing to the image. I left all the choices to the engineers, to mixing images from different places to produce the final image is legitimate. Any amount of post-processing, anything is legitimate, as long as it's faithful to the original artistic intent of the photographer. My artistic intent, and that's my choice, is to produce images that faithfully represent what I'm feeling in front of a scene in its purest form. My artistic intent is completely arbitrary. It's my choice. It's my aesthetics, it's what I enjoy doing, it's what I want to communicate to you. What is very important is that my artistic statement is mine. I do not claim that it should apply to anyone else. That's my choice. Your choice should be different, can be different, and is exactly as legitimate as mine. What happens now that from my artistic intent and artistic statement, I can derive rules that apply to me and that I do not want to break. For example, I do not substitute sky. You do it, it's fine, it's perfectly legitimate. I just don't do it because it would break my artistic statement. For example, if I take a sky from another scene, it wouldn't communicate what I feel in front of the first scene. It would be a mix of the two, so it's something I don't do because it would break my artistic statement. And also, the new sky did not contribute to my feelings in the first scene, so it feels weird. On the other hand, there's nothing that prevents me in my artistic statement to clone out portions of the scene or to stretch them. For example, if you have two people in front of the scene again, and there's a tree in the middle, well, for the first person, maybe the tree is part of the feelings, part of what that person was experiencing, and the tree will end up in the first image. For the second person, maybe the tree was not so important, maybe the person doesn't even remember the tree was there, so it would be perfectly fine to clone out. So yes, I definitely post-process my images, and I have a couple of examples here. That's from a scene in June Lake, it's East Sierra, North California. The colors were beautiful, and I was feeling so peaceful, and that's what I wanted to reflect in the final print. And this was a wonderful scene in the Italian Alps. This is Mount Sagoret. What I felt there was this incredible majesty, like the clouds sweeping through. It looked a little bit like a volcano, so in post I gave a lot of emphasis to the clouds themselves, and you can see they are like slightly brighter than the rest of the scene to really capture the eye. And I worked a lot on the edges of the mount, just to bring out this majesty. This is my photography studio, and I've got the big printer there that I use for printing my work, and I'm gonna talk about it another time when we go more in depth about the printing process. That's gonna be lots of fun. So let me know down there what you think about this. And every photographer post-processing choices are legitimate. That's my strong opinion. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, it helps a lot. Thank you, bye!